I had a video that was the catalyst on this topic, a video called Why People Love Joseph Joestar. There I had a few reasons on why I thought people liked Joseph, and this was information compiled from other opinions and my personal experience. Lo and behold, my test was pretty much positive since the comments had matched up on the reasons that I had found. That was why people loved him, but let's figure out why people hate Joseph Joestar. Now, hate is a strong word. I don't see me using that word when it comes to JoJo because there is nothing I have a huge dislike for. For the most part, this is a great all-around series, but there are things that I won't like and there are people to say the same. Let's go for the first large reason that isn't even exactly hate. Joseph being considered the worst JoJo, which is a subjective statement. In terms of writing, if we're talking about young Joseph, then to be honest with you, I'd probably agree. I believe that every JoJo has their own couple of things that define themselves, and Joseph sets ground for the future JoJos to come. You have Jonathan with traits that correlate to nobility, courage, and gentleman-like attributes, but then you have Joseph that is more urban-based, quick on his feet, sneaky, clever, and underhanded at sometimes. Here's the thing. Joseph has that and his pizzazz, but every JoJo after him has what he has and more. For example, let's have Josuke. Josuke is a pure-hearted guy, cares for his friends, and has great abilities, but he's also clever, manipulates people, acts on passion more than thought at moments, and pretty much does what he wants since he has the power to do so. He can also be cocky and stubborn at times too. Does that sound like anyone to you? And trust me, Josuke isn't the only one who has attributes like this. It runs in the family when it's after Joseph. The only serious ones with a strong composition are Jotaro and Giorno, and if I had to pick between two JoJos and Joseph was always going to be one of those options, I'd probably pick the other JoJo. It's not that Joseph is bad, it's just that the other ones are pretty good. Now a reminder that this one is pretty subjective. Obviously if you don't see what others see in characters like Giorno, Josuke, or Jotaro, and you like Joseph, then you're going to like Joseph more than you like them. You might even say that Jonathan should be considered the least favorite Joestar, and I would reply, as a student in Harvard University studying JoJoology, to tell you that Jonathan is an acquired taste. Only the best will know why he is so great. Now onto the second reason why, which will be one of my own. With Joseph and all of the moments you see of him in his fights, or him when he's outwitting someone, you have to look at him and think, wait, how do you even know anything about fighting? Wait, matter of fact, why are you so smart? If you see Joseph in his youth, and even when he's grown early in battle tendency, you have reason to believe that he's a pampered kid. He lives with Erina, and he's benefiting off of the Speedwagon Foundation's wealth. So I'd have to make the safe assumption that he had been homeschooled by Erina, or had something done possibly by the Speedwagon Foundation to where he wouldn't be in schools and they're teaching him instead. I can see that working to where Joseph is literate and probably above the average student at the time, but my gripe is that Joseph poses as a guy with massive amount of street smarts, but where would he even get those? Erina knows that Joseph likes to get himself into trouble at times since he doesn't take anything from anyone that's not his grandmother, but somehow, something lets him know about fighting and the streets. This argument can be used on any of the other JoJos since their use on their abilities is off of the stands, and sometimes it's just clever thinking. Along with them, the rest of them had been raised averagely in comparison to Joseph, who was wealthy when he was born. If I was supposed to try this argument against Jonathan, it wouldn't work at all. Jonathan was someone who had studied hard under the hand of his father, and would participate in boxing matches against the people of the town. He was also the best boxer there until Dio came around. Joseph just knows to know because it's convenient for him, but then that connects into his signature. Your next line will be, has there been any feasible reason on why he should be able to do that? The only reason I came up with was this quote-unquote theory. I had two videos going over this, but the second one is where you'll get all of the information behind this, and I suggest that you watch that one after. So we know that in the future Joseph gets a stand Hermit Purple, and that's a telepathic stand that has the ability to read minds. Hermit Purple is also a concrete visualization of Hamon, and Araki tells us that if the Stardust Crusaders were to go back in time to battle tendency and they saw Joseph, they would see Hermit Purple wrapped all around him. You realize this and you think back to Tom Petty, who is a master of Hamon And he didn't just read minds, he saw into the future and read the fate of William Zeppeli. So, what am I trying to say here? Joseph isn't that smart. The most sensible thing is that it's his ability that makes him smart, which is basically cheating at that time. You already know how crazy stands are against regular people, but if you can have a stand that can read minds, you win every fight possible. That means every fight possible, even the ones that put you against one of the most busted characters to have ever walked the planet in JoJo. It's also why you yourself can outsmart a being that had lived for thousands of years and had experienced what you read about. Now, for the next one, which I see as a killjoy, not liking Joseph due to how his character is. In my opinion, I like Joseph's personality. It distinguishes himself as a character, and even if he's not as clever as he was shown to be, he's still entertaining. Plus, I can see myself sometimes acting like how he would in certain situations, but not everyone will agree with me, obviously. Some people don't like the funny guy, and that wouldn't be the first time. There are multiple anime where the protagonist has comical moments, but people won't think of them as funny. For example, another voice of Joseph, Gintoki from Gintama. I love Gintoki so much. I think he's hilarious, but there's going to be people that don't like Gintoki, which probably makes them not even like Gintama since he's the face of it all. It's why sometimes people will want to dislike Joseph and will try to dislike JoJo as a whole without going even further. I always end up just not even trying to convince others when it just happens and I just start kissing my teeth like I'm Drake, basically. Now, here's a reason that I think is fully just when it comes to Joseph. Joseph has two things about him where it's just no. One of the problems is that he had a personal issue with the Japanese, and that's something on its own, but it's probably due to his daughter being taken away from him in a sense, so it's probably not as bad as you think. The problem is he cheated on his wife with the same Japanese people that he hated, which was way more messed up than what it appears to be. Suzy Q was just this girl who had got caught up in the mess of the Pillar Men and could have died on Joseph's accord, yet he disregards that in the future and meets up with oh damn. He shouldn't have done that. Bad. That was a terrible thing to do. I understand that you saved the world by cheating and everything, but what you did there, no, it's not cool. Which is a common thing with Joseph, cheating. He cheats in life and he cheats in fights, and that's how you go about the life of Mr. 2. Here's one thing though. I believe that old Joseph is better than young Joseph. There might be only a few that also share the same opinion, but it's one that I do have. He's not given the retired legend role, which I do believe is a huge cliche, and so does Araki. Old Joseph's role is more of a man that is old, but can still function and have some moments that he had when he was younger. And now, if he does outsmart people, it's because he's a seasoned veteran in it all, with a stand that we all know of now that, well, it basically just helps him cheat. It's just that now it's fine because we can all see it. In the end of it all, I don't hate Joseph, but there are people that do. The thing is that there's always going to be something where people don't agree. They also will have their reasoning on it, and if you want to have a conversation on your thoughts about those with others, find them, because I want those that dislike Joseph for reasons to tell me why. I had the comments to tell me why they like Joseph, so it's only fair that you have it on disliking him too. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like or so. If you guys were pissed off in any way because you love Joseph, I have no ill will towards Joseph. It's just the topic of it. If I'm gonna do a love video, I have to do a hate video. So I actually plan to talk about battle tendency in the future, both why there's certain reasons why I probably don't like it as much, but the great things about it too. And those things will be obviously two separate videos because I don't want the clashing comments and people at each other's necks. The only time I see it acceptable for people to be at each other's necks is probably during versus videos, because those things can sometimes get pretty hectic. I hope you guys enjoyed this all. If you want to support the official release, or if you're interested in things like My Hero, more JoJo, Yu Yu Hakusho, or even video game stuff, then I would recommend you to check out my Amazon store, where if I see myself getting it, I'm adding it on the list as a recommendation. If interested, you can join my Discord, and that's where you can probably find some people that share the same interests in anime or games. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So until then, peace out, and Godspeed.